Some words can open doors to great conversations, while others can shut them down instantly. Today, we're sharing 30 words that can make or break any conversation so you can communicate more effectively in any situation. Let's get started. Actually. Meaning, actually is used to correct someone or emphasize a point. Let's use it in a sentence. Actually, that's not how it works. Why to avoid? While it may seem harmless, using actually frequently can come across as condescending or dismissive, making the other person feel corrected or belittled. Fine. Meaning, fine means acceptable or okay. Let's use it in a sentence. I'm fine, thanks. Why to avoid? It's a conversation stopper because it doesn't invite further discussion. Offer more details to keep the conversation flowing. Nothing. Meaning, nothing refers to the absence of anything. Let's use it in a sentence. What's new with you? Nothing. Why to avoid? Responding with nothing can make the interaction feel dull and uninviting. Share even small updates to keep the conversation engaging. Cool. Meaning, cool is often used to express approval or indifference. Let's use it in a sentence. Oh, you got a new job. Cool. Why to avoid? While not always negative, using cool without enthusiasm can seem disinterested. Add follow-up questions to show genuine interest. Awkward. Meaning, awkward describes something that feels uncomfortable or embarrassing. Let's use it in a sentence. Well, that was awkward. Why to avoid? Pointing out awkwardness can make situations feel even more uncomfortable, shutting down natural conversation flow. Whatever. Meaning, a dismissive response showing indifference. In a sentence, whatever, it doesn't matter. Why it kills the conversation? It shuts down further discussion and makes the other person feel unheard. Anyway. Meaning, used to change the subject or move on. In a sentence, anyway, let's talk about something else. Why it kills the conversation? It signals that you're uninterested in continuing the discussion. Never mind. Meaning, used to dismiss a previous statement or question. In a sentence, never mind, it's not important. Why it kills the conversation? It invalidates curiosity and discourages further engagement. Sure. Meaning, a neutral response that lacks enthusiasm or commitment. In a sentence, sure, do whatever you want. Why it kills the conversation? It can come off as passive-aggressive or disinterested. Oh. Meaning, a brief, unenthusiastic acknowledgement. In a sentence, oh. That's interesting. Why it kills the conversation? It signals disinterest and discourages further elaboration. Actually. Meaning, implies surprise, as if contradicting an expectation. In a sentence, you're actually really good at this. Why it's a problem? It suggests that the person's skill or ability was unexpected, which can come off as condescending. For once. Meaning, suggests that something is unusual or rare. In a sentence, you did a great job for once. Why it's a problem? It implies that the person usually doesn't do well, making the compliment feel backhanded. Surprisingly. Meaning, expresses unexpected admiration. In a sentence, that was surprisingly well done. Why it's a problem? It makes it seem like you doubted their abilities beforehand, which can diminish the praise. Decent. Meaning, means acceptable but not exceptional. In a sentence, that presentation was actually pretty decent. Why it's a problem? It downplays the effort and makes the praise feel lukewarm at best. Considering. Meaning, implies that the person had obstacles or limitations. In a sentence, you did great, considering you don't have much experience. Why it's a problem? It sounds like you're qualifying the praise, making it less meaningful. Even. Meaning, suggesting that the compliment is unexpected or rare. In a sentence, you even managed to be on time today. Why it's backhanded? It implies that being on time is unusual for the person. Almost. Meaning, indicating that something is close to being good but not quite. In a sentence, this presentation is almost perfect. Why it's backhanded? It takes away from the compliment by focusing on what's missing. Unlike. Meaning, comparing the current situation to a less favorable past. In a sentence, you look great today, unlike yesterday. Why it's backhanded? It suggests that they usually don't look great. At least. Meaning, downplaying an achievement by highlighting a minimum expectation. In a sentence, At least you didn't mess up this time. Why it's backhanded, it implies that failure is the norm. Just. Meaning, suggesting that something is only acceptable but not exceptional. In a sentence, that's just impressive enough to get noticed. Why it's backhanded, it minimizes the compliment by making it sound underwhelming. Understand. Meaning, acknowledges the other person's viewpoint without necessarily agreeing. In a sentence, I understand your concerns and appreciate you bringing them up. Why it's effective, it shows empathy and respect, helping to de-escalate conflicts. Concern. Meaning, a neutral way to express an issue without sounding confrontational. In a sentence, one concern I have is ensuring we meet our deadline effectively. Why it's effective, it frames disagreements as constructive discussions rather than direct criticism. Perspective. Meaning, a way of recognizing different viewpoints. In a sentence, I appreciate your perspective and would like to find common ground. Why it's effective, it promotes open-mindedness and helps keep discussions civil and solution-oriented. Consider. Meaning, encourages thoughtful reflection without sounding forceful. In a sentence, would you consider an alternative approach that benefits both sides? Why it's effective, it sounds collaborative rather than demanding, making it easier to reach agreements. Clarify. Meaning, requests further explanation without sounding accusatory. In a sentence, could you clarify what you mean by that so we're on the same page? Why it's effective, it ensures mutual understanding and keeps conversations productive. Acknowledge. Meaning, to recognize or accept a situation or concern. In a sentence, I acknowledge that this is a challenging issue, and I appreciate your patience. Why it's diplomatic, it shows understanding without immediately taking sides. Align. Meaning, to bring ideas, perspectives, or goals into agreement. In a sentence, let's align our expectations to ensure a smooth collaboration. Why it's diplomatic, it promotes unity and cooperation in challenging discussions. Re-evaluate. Meaning, to review or reconsider a decision or approach. In a sentence, given the new developments, we may need to re-evaluate our strategy. Why it's diplomatic, it allows for reconsideration without assigning fault. Mitigate. Meaning, to reduce the impact of a problem or difficulty. In a sentence, we are taking steps to mitigate any potential risks involved. Why it's diplomatic, it focuses on solutions rather than dwelling on the issue. Diplomatically. Meaning, in a way that is tactful and avoids unnecessary conflict. In a sentence, we should address this concern diplomatically to maintain a positive dialogue. Why it's diplomatic, it reinforces the importance of handling sensitive matters with care. Quick tip: in tough situations, diplomacy is about balancing honesty with tact. Using thoughtful language can help de-escalate tension and foster productive discussions.